And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Monday Night PWAM. That's Monday Night PWAM, Pro Wrestling and more. We're going to talk all about Raw. What a cryptic ending that was. Who is Kurt Angle saying I love you to? It's not Karen Jarrett coming back. He's not saying he loves Stephanie. Or is he? That's crazy, man. Good match to close the show. There was an awful lot of good work on tonight's show, I thought. We're waiting to see if AC is going to go ahead and get in touch with us here tonight. But yeah, man, coming off the heels of a very good pay-per-view, I thought. I mean, we liked the pay-per-view. And we found it hard to poke holes in it last night, actually. But this was a very mixed bag edition of Raw. AC, what do you think about tonight's show?
Well, I mean, like I said, like I was telling you earlier when we were talking, I was kind of in and out of it tonight. I missed the opening. But from what I saw, it's probably pretty accurate, a mixed bag. So,
first things first, we're going to get to Raw in a second. But the more hot news out there in the pro wrestling world is the whole Alberto Del Rio, Alberto El Patron, Alberto Rodriguez, whatever his damn name is.
Roberto Rodriguez.
Yeah. Apparently, Pro Wrestling Insider reported earlier today that GFW champion Alberto El Patron was detained following incident at Orlando Airport. He's under investigation for domestic violence and battery. Mike Johnson placed a call into the Orlando Police Department and was given the following statement. Again, this comes courtesy of Mike Johnson and PW Insider here. There was an incident at Orlando International Airport about 3 p.m. Sunday involving Jose Rodriguez, date of birth 5/25/1977. That's crazy. He's 1 year younger, or 1 year older, almost to the month, to my ex-wife. That's crazy. The reported incident was a domestic violence battery and is still under investigation. No arrests have been made at this time, but the case remains open. That is all the information we have to release at this time. Paige tweeted something out today that kind of was supposed to put the kibosh on all this. And she tweeted out, we got the cops involved. I'm crying because I found out bad family news, and a lady tries to take a pic. She gets angry and throws a drink on, and she tags Alberto. And she goes, please leave us alone. That's it.
Okay. Sounds like yes.
That ain't it. Because
not it.
Did you listen to the link I sent you?
I did.
Okay. Because you're not going to be able to hear it here when I play it here for a second. That's why I'm going to go silent here in a minute. But we're going to go ahead and play for you this, apparently.
Yeah, play it first, then we can comment.
TMZ has obtained an audio recording of the alleged domestic dispute involving Alberto Del Rio and Paige, in which an emotional Paige, let's listen in. This, again, comes courtesy of TMZ. Sounds like her to me, but here we go.
Let's do it. Leave the cops. Stay out of my life. Leave me the fuck alone and try to get away from you. All the time. Yes, you deserve it. You just have to talk to me in your face, not the water. You are pressing charges against me. Press charges, don't press charges. It gets me the fuck away from you. It gets me the fuck away from you.
I'll follow you. No. You're not gonna let her go. Call the police. She assaulted me. She needs to be arrested.
So this audio could be taken a lot of different ways, okay? Who's Paige yelling at? We don't know that she's yelling at Del Rio. She could be yelling at this fan who apparently flew a fucking drink over it. What's his face? Del Rio could be saying, hey, you're pressing charges against yourself. He could be yelling at this lady too. This solves nothing. This sheds no light on this. I mean, it's just audio. Now, if it was video, then we would have this. But
Well, if it's in an airport, you would think. I
There's
mean,
security
not that
footage.
I don't know if you could get your hands on it, but you would think the cops would have the video.
The police have it. The police have the
Yeah,
video.
right.
And if Del Rio's under investigation, if the police department
It sounded
is
like
saying,
he wanted to call the cops.
Yeah, he's like, call the cops.
She assaulted me.
If you hear this audio, Paige comes off as the crazy one. And to tell you the truth, in this entire relationship, ever since she got injured and has been on this sabbatical from WWE, it's been crazy Paige incident after crazy Paige incident. There was an incident in Las Vegas between the two. There's this.
He's no saint either.
No, I'm not saying he is, but I'm just saying.
I mean, there's a lot of questionable behavior on his end too.
I mean, sometimes you feel like a nut, and sometimes you are one. Which one of these in this situation? Which one of them feels like a nut? One of them is one? You know, they seem to alternate every damn incident we see.
Oh well, I mean, let's be honest here, and I'm not saying this to defend Paige, but she's a lot younger than him.
Oh yeah.
I happen to be someone who works with a lot of younger women too, and I kind of know how they act these days. She became a star at a very young age. She's, probably going through it a little bit of which way she wants her life to go. Again, this is not a defense for any of her behavior either, but in the grand scheme of things here, who's supposed to be the more responsible adult here? The 24, 23, 24-year-old who, has, now has tapes of guys fucking her all over the internet that she probably would rather not be out there. She's going to be ridiculed if she ever steps foot on WWE TV again, and she probably full well knows that. And now you got this guy who's, 39, 40 years old who has his own issues. You just really worry that this is a very bad, combustible situation with them.
It's a very, very volatile. Yeah, like you said, they're ticking time bombs. Both of them. They don't need to be around each other at all.
Yeah, I think that they both, and let's face it, this guy just got taken to the cleaners in a divorce not too long ago. It's almost like, the two of them would do a lot of good to go their separate ways and, get whatever, help or support or whatever you want to call it they need. Because it just seems like it's a really volatile situation. The more you see and hear, the more your fear is this is going to end bad as opposed to good.
It reminds me of it just reminds me a little bit of the Matt Hardy, Reby Sky situation when they first got together, and they were getting into it like this every other fucking week until Matt finally got his shit straight, and so they both got their shit straight, actually, and had a kid. Because I remember here in Virginia,
she's a fucking Looney Tune too,
dude. They got arrested. Both of them got arrested at a hotel in Emporia, Virginia, one night after a big time wrestling show that they were both on for domestic violence. But
I can tell you this: Matt is very close to Northeast Wrestling, and I'm not going to give stories or where things happen, but I can tell you, I have first-hand knowledge of situations when Matt was, in a different place that, we all know Matt was in a bad place, and Jeff as well too was in a bad place for a while, or maybe, and he seems to turn things around and's got things going great for him, which is outstanding. But there were times where, even here locally where, Matt had some issues, and, luckily, I guess when you're in certain wrestling shows and with certain wrestling families, so to speak, sometimes you have people that look out for you and sometimes you don't. And I think a lot of times in those situations he had, at the end of the day, he had maybe a couple guys looking out for him, which is good. And, maybe I just think the two of them need something before something really bad happens.
They need to be separated. Okay, here's what
I mean, I don't want to get crazy about it, but it just seems like tip of the iceberg here type of thing. Like, what don't we know either? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, here's we'll never know the inside details on this, but I mean,
Right.
we can only speculate. We're no better than TMZ when it comes to playing the audio, I guess. But still, I mean, here's the way I think of it. She has been known to have issues, demons, as they say in the wrestling business, whether it be drugs, whether it be alcohol. And he's probably not doing anything to squash it either. Because like you said, he's no saint either.
No. Yeah, I mean,
So-
he seems to be, having his way with, whatever his vices are too. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
some
dude,
of those videos they posted were, I mean, you could tell I'm not gonna speculate what they were on. I would assume alcohol. Anything beyond that,
So here's
anybody's
the thing.
guess,
If you're
but-
Del Rio, you're pretty much able to write your own ticket on the Indies and through TNA. You got this big fat fucking contract, and you got her on your fucking hip. Why would you want to get away from that? I mean,
I
regardless
just
of the
find it
situation.
I find it very strange the way their situation works with, him wrestling and her sitting ringside.
Dude,
Uh,
how W?
I mean,
and
I've
this is
been
what
to
kills me about
plenty
all
of
this.
shows. I've been to plenty of shows where Bennett's wrestled, and you look way back in the corner of the arena,
And there's Maria.
hiding there is Maria, like out of the spotlight, just watching her man do her thing. I've been to shows where other guys have dated other wrestlers who weren't on the show, and you never see them, and then you turn around a couple weeks later and there's some video blog, and oh shit, she really was there. Just what I'm saying. It's very strange that you have like a security guy with her, and she's sitting front row every time this guy wrestles.
Yeah,
It's very
like
strange.
you said, she was wearing a lucha
It's almost
mask.
like he doesn't want her in the back with the other guys.
No, he
Like,
doesn't.
does he think like they're gonna run a train on her
Well,
while
here-
he's working a match or
No,
something? Like,
it's-
I'm not trying to shame her. I'm just saying is that it's almost in some way one of them is being very obsessive. Either he wants her out there, or she's like obsessively going out there.
Here's my speculation to all this. I get what you're saying. It's very Macho Man Liz type protection. But I think, she's not allowed to be backstage at any events, because this has been my thing with them. This has been my big kerfluffle with her. Why isn't she's under contract to WWE? She's been seen in pictures and in photographs online, openly standing at the ringside with him, watching these matches. She's appeared on internet pay-per-views with him, I think. I want to say.
Well, I know the TNA when she had a lucha mask on. Well,
Yeah.
we're speculating. I mean, we're speculating it was her. We all know it was her.
So why isn't WWE stepping in going, you're under fucking contract. You either stay the fuck away from him and stay the fuck away from
do we know that
this.
they're not?
Well, obviously, then she isn't listening. Why isn't she fired yet?
Well,
then?
let me ask you a question. Well, realistically, I mean, if she goes out there with a mask on, I mean, to me, somebody probably said something to her, and that's probably why she was wearing the mask.
Well,
I mean,
the TNA thing, here's what kills me. The TNA thing, she knows damn well if she shows her face in the crowd at a TNA event. Remember way back when they very first started, it was one of their first pay-per-views.
TNA probably wouldn't want her doing that either, because that opens them up to shit too.
No. Well, this is where I was going. Remember when way back in like 2006 when the Highlanders one of the Highlanders showed up at a TNA pay-per-view? What happened? They fucking showed him on camera. TNA's not afraid to. Hey, look who's sitting in the crowd. It's WWE superstar Paige.
This is. Remember, this is GFW run by Anthem. It's a different game now too.
That doesn't mean anything. It's still the same producers, directors, everything else, man.
But it's different money
it's better-
ahead of
it's
maybe.
better to
You
ask-
also got to realize that you don't know how many people they pissed off with these lawsuits they've been throwing around either.
Well,
So they may not want to open themselves up
it's
to
the
that kind of
wrestling
thing.
business. If I'm sitting there and Paige is at ringside without that mask on, I'm shooting her and I'm putting her on the show. You want to know why? Because it's better to
I mean, all entertainment aspects do that. You know, if you watch the UFC pay-per-views, they're always showing you what stars are in the crowd, boxing matches, same thing. Pro wrestling does it. You know, even you even see it in sports at times.
Well, the thing is, when the Highlanders showed up at that TNA thing, they were fired like 2 or 3 weeks later. And TNA.
Well, I don't. First of all, I wouldn't claim to know Paige's contractual status with the WWE, and maybe there's a reason why they aren't firing her. You know,
maybe they don't want her going anywhere else.
Or maybe they don't want her going anywhere else, or maybe they're worried about what may happen with her if they fire her. You know, maybe they're trying to keep a leash on her, so to speak, for her own good.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. You know, it's gonna.
You know, because if she goes off the rails after they fire her, that's
ODs. Yeah, that looks bad on them.
It's gonna look really bad on them, especially with this women's movement and everything else. You know, maybe it's, at the end of the day, they're like, you know what? Even though we're putting up with all this garbage, at least we could keep an eye on her because we got her under contract.
Here's the thing about this women's revolution thing. Paige has openly said in interviews that she disagrees with it, that she liked being called a diva. She liked the butterfly belt. She was like she was WWE's last quote-unquote diva, in my opinion.
I think she has a little renegade mentality about her too. And I think it's like, all right, whatever they're doing, I want to go against the grain.
Another thing too, like you brought up, it's the fact of she's in her mid-20s, early 20s.
In the grand scheme of things, she's a baby. You know what I mean?
She's in America. She doesn't have her parents. Here it is. Her parents are openly crying out on Twitter saying they don't like the fact that she's with this guy. They wish
probably know he's a piece of shit.
They wish honestly, her dad has came out on Twitter many times going, I just want my baby girl to come home.
They probably know more about the situation than we do, and they probably know what a piece of crap the guy is.
Yeah, and it's probably better for her to just leave him behind and go back to England.
Yeah, but maybe, like I said, she's got a little renegade in her. You know, maybe the more her parents cry out, the more they're pushing them in. Yeah. Pushing her into his arms. You know what I mean?
You're absolutely right. And I was just going to say that. You know, the more she rebels, the more her parents are going to bitch, and the more they bitch, the more she's going to rebel.
I mean, this is almost take wrestling out of it. This is a, classic, young adult situation where, they're going against what the parents want, and I'm old enough to do whatever the fuck I want. You're not going to tell me what to do.
Right.
And maybe in some way the parents are, just want what's best for you, but you don't see that. And listen, a lot of people her age are going through it now and have been through it, and it's really not that far fetched. The only difference with Paige is her life is on TMZ. Her life is being fouled around by dirt shits. And people want to see her fuck up, and people want to report that story.
She left England when she was 17 or 18 years old.
Right.
She left her parents when she was 17, 18 years old. Yes, we couldn't wait to get the fuck away from our parents, but we still heeded their advice, And she left
to a place and ran into a bunch of guys that probably, put the game on her, videotaped fucking her and shit, and somebody was videotaping all that stuff. Those things didn't magically appear.
You know what I like about
I don't want to sit here and make her, she got taken advantage of, but you know what? She's a young girl. She probably did in some way.
And then you have all these people on Twitter going, the woman who wants people to pay $3 for her fucking post-game shows tweeted out going, you don't know how hard it is to leave a domestic violent relationship unless you've been in one. And I'm sitting there going, as much money as that girl has in the bank, she can get away from his ass if she wants to. They're in a fucking airport. If he really slapped you, you look at TSA and go, hey, assault in a fucking airport. He's locked up. You book a flight right then and there to England. Hop on a fucking airplane. You got the money to do it. Don't give me that bullshit.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then
that
2
that
minutes
is that is a
later, the
crock of
same
shit.
girl on Twitter posts, for anybody who needs it, here's the domestic abuse hotline. Look, my dad got drunk and hit my mom all the fucking time when I was little. That's why I do not have a relationship with my father to this fucking day. I know what it's like being around that. I'm not advocating this. What I'm saying
course
is
not.
the bullshit of it's hard to get away from it. No, it's not. Not in 2017. It's not where women are supposed to have power.
Listen,
You
like
fucking
you
tell
said,
the bastard stay away from me. Get a restraining order on him, like Vince Russo did to Jim Cornette. We know that that's possible now. You get a restraining order on him, and you fucking leave. You check your ass into a damn, what is it, the YWCA? Hey, my boyfriend's beating the fuck out of me
oh,
and
come on.
pumping
Listen,
me full of drugs.
she has a lot of avenues. Let's be honest, Joe. Like you said, she has the money. First of all,
Yeah.
this relationship is broadcast in the spotlight.
And
So
how do
there's
we know
nothing. I
that
mean,
they're not
you know what
together?
I mean. And the other thing about this too is, and you said it in the beginning, and you're probably 100% correct about it. They're both just batshit fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it is.
They're
I mean,
together
let's
for the
face it.
publicity.
They get drunk or whatever they do, their vices, whatever they are, they do what they do. They get into fights, and then when everything wears off, they love each other again.
Yeah.
This is a classic. I mean, we all see this. You don't have to change the game up just because they're in a public eye and because they have a name and they have popularity because of, wrestling in the WWE. I mean, at the end of the day, this is still human interaction. It's the same human interaction we all deal with different people in our lives all the time.
I know love is blinding, and yes, it is hard to walk away from a fucking relationship when you think you're that much in love with the person. I get it. But we all know that if he really is an abusive motherfucker towards women, which I don't doubt that like you said, he's bad shit crazy.
Given his temperament,
Yeah.
I mean,
Here's
it's not
my
that.
advice
I mean,
to
he
Paige.
invited half the WWE roster to fight him at his restaurant.
Yeah, I mean, so here's where I worry, and here's my advice to Paige. It's only gonna get worse. It's only going to get worse. And what's it going to take? Is it going to take this motherfucker flying off the handle at you one time and beating you within a half an inch of your fucking life?
And listen,
the last thing I want to see is a fucking headline that reads, Del Rio charged in the murder of Paige. I don't want to see that.
Or in the violent beating or,
So my advice to both of these guys is to get the fuck away from each other, get your careers back on fucking track, and just live your life with. You don't need each other. It's apparent that you can't be around each other.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Let's get on to Raw.
Toxic relationship.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, they're probably never going to hear us talk about it, which is fine. But I just hope for both their sakes, especially hers being how young she is, that at some point they figure it out before anything really bad happens,
Let's get on to Raw here. A very mixed bag show. I liked some parts of it. Open?
I didn't see the open. I got home at 8:15.
It was Colin in the ring, Colin Cassidy in the ring, cutting a promo about how he is the giant. There's nobody taller than him. There's nobody bigger than him. And he's serving notice to the entire locker room. And it's about the time he starts going, there's nobody bigger than me. There's nobody on his level.
The Big Show's music hit.
The Big Show's music hit.
We fucking talked about it last
night. They do a stand-off.
You knew it was coming. It was coming.
Exactly. So they punch each other from across the ring, and they have a standoff. Show headbutts Cassidy. Cassidy gets him in a front face lock. Show does a gator roll on him, and he punches Colin and kicks him, and then Colin all of a sudden just gets out of the ring, and that's it. So there's the launch of that program, which is, we all know how it's going to go. Colin eventually is going to have to beat this guy. But knowing WWE, this will be a 6-month-long fucking feud, and it'll probably be 8 months or 6 to 8 months before Colin finally gets a win. And by the time he does get a win, he ain't going to amount to nothing in the public's eyes. So there we go. We have the kickoff of that classic. So you did get in for the Fragile Devitt versus Elias Sampson match.
But yeah, I actually I actually got home and I was in commercial, and when they cut back in, they announced Elias Sampson. He started singing his stupid song, and Devitt came out.
Well, then
Balor came out.
you got in right after the Colin Cassidy stuff. They said Brock Lesnar will be on tonight, which I didn't expect, honestly. Finn Balor wins this one, and I did like how he's going up the ramp, and all of a sudden Matt and Jeff Hardy come out there, and they're he tells them delete and all this. Finn Balor gives them the delete sign. They do the Too Sweet Me and all this, and then the Hardy Boys music hit, and they come down the ramp for their tag match. And wouldn't you know it, as Jim Cornette would say, wouldn't you know who won the pony? The club, Gallows and Anderson, actually got a win tonight over the Hardy Boys.
Right, yeah.
I was surprised to see that. It was actually a pretty
and
good
then
match.
the beatdown from the Revival after.
Yeah.
Hashtag fuck the
I
Revival.
was going to say hashtag fuck the Revival. So all of a sudden they do that little beatdown thing, which I'm sitting there going, heels beating on the bed. This made no sense, kind of. That how are they just able
don't
to
you
walk
think they're
past the club?
either they're finding a way to do this broken gimmick, or they're teasing it and fucking with everybody by just by. Did you see Matt's facial expressions last night after being cut?
Oh yeah.
He was kind of a little more. I mean, he wasn't broken Matt Hardy tonight, but he was a little more aggressive with it, a little more. And then losing a match, getting beat down. You can almost see that maybe they're gonna do something with this.
Matt Hardy put on Twitter about 2 hours ago, the Hardys finally have something in common with the Bucks of Youth. Hashtag delete the Revival.
That's tremendous.
That's good.
That's tremendous.
But meanwhile, WWE's
Did you see what the Revival tweeted?
No.
It was It was God, I gotta pull it up because it kind of stole the FTR thunder. I don't know if you saw. They did it came from the Being Elite video blog on YouTube, but they were outside of a Hot Topic, and it was the majority of the Bullet Club, and they were doing a fuck the Revival spot, and Kenny Omega was like, hold on. There's a lot of kids here. Let's just say FTR. So on 1, 2, 3, and everybody there, the fans, Bullet Club guys, whatever, were all like, FTR. So then the Revival tweeted this, and I don't want to mess up what they replaced the F with.
I know that they did a deal where Dash Wilder, or not Dash Wilder, Dawson put a thing of him doing the Too Sweet Me sign, and he's kind of like rolling his eyes, and he's like, look, we're over with the internet now.
Right.
This is going to be like the greatest thing ever, because the Revival's on my side of this whole thing. They're taking the internet smarks to task. They're taking the internet indie scene to task, so to speak. I love it.
All right, let me try to find which one of them posted now.
But while you're doing that, we then,
Yeah, we go on. I'll find it for you.
What did you think of the match? I liked the tag match. I like what happened afterwards.
I thought it was pretty decent. It was good. I mean, I wouldn't go crazy about it, but it was good.
We're back, and then we had the Mizzies.
I mean, the idea of the Hardys losing again, I think, was a little bit of a swerve in a way, because the normal thing to do would be like, all right, we're gonna have a rematch with the Hardys and Cesaro and Sheamus, and it was nice that they didn't go that route. They only gave us one of those rematch deals, which normally after pay-per-views you get like 3 or 4, sometimes 5. We didn't get that many, so I could live with what they did there.
By the way, we are 1650 PWAM, Pro Wrestling and More. This is Monday Night PWAM. We do this show, at least try to do this show every Monday after Raw live. You'll never have to pay a Patreon to go see us. We don't require you to spend $2 or $3. We just ask that you hit that like. We just ask that you hit the like button and hit the subscribe button on YouTube, and of course all of our Twitter handles. Me, AC, Blading for Truth's Jeff Edwards at Blading for Truth. There, give us all a follow. Give the network a follow as well. I've now been bestowed access to the 1650 Twitter account. I guess.
There you go.
I guess because Jeff is like, you're tweeting shit about yourself anyway before the network has a chance to, so just take it. So I was like, okay, whatever. So me and Jeff both manage that now. I find it kind of hard to manage 2 Twitter accounts at once. So, but I'm trying to get the hang of it. But
well, I mean, lately Hollywood has been so Hollywood. He has a hard time managing one.
Hollywood's been going through some shit lately. But anyway,
I'm busting.
Kayfabe. I got to kayfabe that. But I like the. I like
literally going through shit.
Oh yeah, he was going. That was not this time, not literally, but that's all I'm gonna say. Anyway, Miz is up next. We have the Miz TV. I don't like the fact that Bo Dallas comes out there dressed like a damn biker, and the other 2 are in suits.
That was strange. Yeah, his attire was very strange.
I mean, what kills me is the graphic that they showed for this for the up.
It's almost like Bo Dallas wants to look Wyatt family where he's with the Miz.
Yeah, I mean,
strange.
Well, what kills me is they did the coming up next the Miz, and they showed Bo Dallas in a suit in that graphic. Like they photoshopped a suit on him. And then he comes out looking like he just walked off the set of Sons of Anarchy. And I'm just like, dude, really?
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like Bo Dallas being with him, but hey, it gives Bo Dallas something to do. We have the Mizzies. All I can say is Maurice. Maurice looked smoking hot in this segment.
Smoking. Just real quick, not to interrupt you, but they dash tweeted "Forever the Revival" FTR. So that was their comeback to the FTR. Fuck the Revival.
He put that up 2 hours ago. It's like the very first thing on his Twitter account. Forever the Revival.
Mm-hmm.
But
so basically, he's if you're chanting FTR or doing hashtag FTR, he's busting your balls saying "Forever the Revival" when you're saying
stole it away from the Young Bucks and everybody else again.
Fuck the Revival is a lot more trendy, I gotta say.
The Miz segment here, it made no sense for Ambrose to come out afterwards. I don't know where they're going with this, man. It's so confusing.
Honestly, they should have. Honestly, when he started calling out Rollins, I thought it was good. Mm-hmm. But he mentioned Ambrose first, which I'm like, what are they doing? And then Ambrose came out first. And I'm like, oh, come on.
And what kills me is you heard
when he started talking about Rollins, I was like, all right, I could dig the Miz versus Seth Rollins right now. Like, I really could. And I was like, all right, that's, and then, of course, you know what it is? What do we do with Seth right now? Well,
he's on the cover of the video game, so we got to have him out there.
We'll tease that Shield reunion again. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like the little fucking game they're playing with.
It's like when they have nothing else for them to do individually, they throw them together. You know?
Right. We got nothing else to do. Or we're in this group scenario again, so we're going to tease the Shield reunion. It's getting old already.
And then they go to the back after this segment and be like, we're not getting back together. This ain't going to be no Shield reunion.
Why are you helping me? And then, of course, they end the show with fucking Ambrose coming out to help Rollins.
Yeah, and it's just...
I hated it.
I like the match tonight between Seth and Bray a lot more than I liked the one last night.
The match was good, yes.
But at the end, it's so confusing about where they're going. And I know it's to get you to tune in next week because they're probably going to do a fucking tag match with Miz and Bray versus Dean and Seth. But come on.
I don't really like. To me, Bray should have, after winning tonight, should move on from Seth, and Dean shouldn't even be involved with the Miz anymore. I mean, that's the way. That's what I would have rather seen,
and
personally.
What's crazy is, last night everybody worked real hard. They all busted their ass, but the pay-per-views, especially, more so the big four, but pay-per-views are designed to end feuds. And by this time, we are so sick of seeing Miz and fucking Dean that we just wanted something different. And guess what? WWE says, nope, we're going to give it to you at least another month.
Let's face it, that feud started on SmackDown. That's how long it's been.
Before WrestleMania. Yeah,
it started on fucking SmackDown.
I mean, I know that we're preaching every week, going, yeah, we need longer feuds. What happened to feuds that would last a year?
But if it's good, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
As soon as they brought in the teddy bears, I was done.
Mm-hmm. It's when it jumped the shark. It's when it jumped the bear right there, you know. The next match was Sasha and Bayley versus Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss. I love Alexa Bliss.
Oh, love her.
And I love Nia Jax too, man. They're so good. I think they're good as a tag team. Sasha, I hate to say this about Bayley.
Honestly, if it wasn't for Nia Jax, if it wasn't for Alexa Bliss right now, Nia Jax should have that title.
Yep. And here's what kills me is I hate to say this about Bayley, and I hate saying this about any talent, but Bayley needs to go back to NXT and just stay there. Because my biggest fears with her have came true. And that she was so red hot down there, and there she had Izzy the super fan and all this stuff. And now that it's actually it's come up here, and the main and I don't think it's as much as WWE killing it as much as it is the people who did not watch NXT and did not know who she was. It's too white meat babyface for them.
Yep.
She might as well come out there with a white boots, white jacket, and white top hat on. You know.
Again, I think that the main roster fan that just watches the main roster stuff views her as PG, fucking booking for 8-year-old shit
and
that we don't like.
WWE and Triple H saw her as the female John Cena when she came
right.
up, and guess
what?
Right.
Well, because of merch and because of Make-A-Wish requests and everything else, that was definitely what they thought. Who knows? That thought may be going away because it's not like they're giving her some super, push right now. She's a secondary aspect to the story.
And it's killing Sasha Banks every time we see her associated with her because it's like
the thing is though, I don't know with Sasha. I know Sasha gets a good reaction. I think people like her character, but her in-ring work is just sloppy at best.
That and she's like Fragile Banks.
Right. Oh, well, that too. But part of that is because she's sloppy.
Yeah. Yeah. In NXT she was sloppy.
Just look at when you look at the way Alexa Bliss carries herself, and we talked about this last night. The sexy badass with a really unique mean streak, which I love. But if you she just radiates confidence in everything she does, whether it's cutting a promo, the way she walks to the ring, the way she wrestles in a match, the way she handles every situation. Like, you sense that confidence, that heel, I'm better than you confidence. And you get that from very few of those women right now.
So Bayley got
you know what? When you go back to the Attitude Era women, the Trish Stratuses of the world, they had that. Lita had that. I think that's what a lot of these girls, even though they're very talented, I think a lot of them are missing that. I'm very confident in what I'm doing. It's almost like they bought into this revolution. We have to prove ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
No. Forget proving yourself. Just go out there and do it. You're there. You already by being there, you proved yourself. Just go out there and do it. And I sense that with Alexa Bliss. I sense that with Nia Jax. Charlotte a little bit. She's just very annoying. But the rest of them, I don't know.
I thought the match was decent, the tag match aspect of it, but I'm sitting here. The more Sasha and Bayley
I gotta be honest.
up,
Aaron Judge was batting during that match, so I didn't see a lot of the match.
The more Sasha and Bayley team up with one another, the more of it I look at it and go, is this going to be the night where Sasha turns heel? And I don't know that that's the direction they want to go with Sasha. If they're trying to keep Sasha a babyface, this isn't the way to do it. This isn't.
It really isn't.
Yeah, this is not the way to keep somebody babyface. If your fans are constantly wondering when is she going to turn.
Well, I have a feeling that when she does, it's gonna be on Bayley, because I think they want to.
That's what I'm talking about.
Try to recapture some of that Bayley Sasha, what we had in NXT prior. I just don't know if they're there right now to really pull it off.
That's what I was talking about. Like, the more Bayley and Sasha team up, the more I think, is this going to be the night where Sasha turns on Bayley?
I would think, and I don't know if you agree with me or not, because I love Alexa as a heel so much. Even though she gets a crowd reaction because she's hot and she's very good at what she
can
does.
work, yeah.
But I don't think you necessarily need to turn her babyface. You can keep her heel. My question is, do you turn Nia Jax babyface and have her make the big run at Alexa?
I could see that happening. I could totally see that happening.
Edge has come out and spoken very highly of her. She's always had The Rock in her corner. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
You have The Rock come out, cut a promo, call out his girl Nia Jax. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And she goes over huge. You know what I mean? So I don't think that's that crazy that could be where they're headed here.
So
Bayley and Sasha go off on another, and I've been kind of clamoring for this. You know, why does every women's program have to center around that title?
Mm-hmm.
You can have other ones that don't center around the title. It's okay to do that. It's okay to have the one thing I do like about what they're doing with Balor right now, and even though it's Elias Sampson and the whole thing, at least they're creating a feud that's not centered around a title. You know, maybe they're doing something with. It seems like they're doing something with Mike Kanellis. I keep wanting to call him Bennett. With Mike Kanellis and Sami Zayn and SmackDown. You know, even though we all knew it was predictable that it was going to be Big Cass versus the Big Show, Enzo's still going to have a part in that. Now you have a feud that's just the good guy versus the bad guy, no title involved. They really need to do more of that. It doesn't always have to be about a title. My biggest bitch about New Japan is there's 5,000 fucking titles. You don't need a title in every match.
Have you heard the rumor, though, that they're thinking about doing women's tag team titles?
With who? You don't even have that many women that do it.
Exactly.
If you were going to do that, why wouldn't you have the singles champion on one show and the women's tag division on another show?
Yeah.
But no, you have two women's champions right now. So now you're gonna add in a third title on one of the shows.
They got this damn Mae Young Classic being taped this weekend. They've only announced
how
about
long
half
before they have a triplets title?
The triplets title.
I mean, every other promotion has it. They're actually behind the game now. I mean, New Japan. Let's face it. Lucha Underground did it. Then New Japan did it, and then Ring of Honor did it. Right. So either a GFW Impact or WWE, they're gonna do it. Somebody else got to do it, right? Everybody's doing it.
The triplets title. I could so see WWE bringing back like the butterfly belts, like 3 butterfly belts, and calling it the triplets title.
You all have to have the same hair color or something.
Yeah. At least dress alike. Yeah, you gotta all wear black. If you're heels, you wear black. You know.
Same gear.
You can fight for the triplets title.
Maybe that was a bad word. A 3.
No, it ain't. No, it ain't.
It says 6-man title, but only 3 guys carry it. It's stupid. Actually, calling it the trios title and Lucha Underground makes the most sense.
Hashtag triplets title. Oh man! Speaking of which, you then had the Goldust Shattered Dreams production.
Oh wait, you know what that means?
That means I could book the.
That means 3 pairs of feet. That means 6 feet. We could look at Joe White.
Oh shit! Getting back to Raw, we then had the Shattered Dreams production, which I thought was always a good promo by Goldie, and then we had R-Truth versus Goldust, which was way better than their first go round a couple weeks ago. I actually enjoyed this match. I like Goldust hitting the final cut for the 3 count.
Yep.
I liked everything about this match, honestly. I don't have a bad thing to say about it. They both worked their asses off. Truth actually showed a lot in this match. Goldust worked better than he has in a long time with it.
I'm with you. I liked it. Again, you got a little feud brewing here. You have a little story behind it. which is nice.
It
I know
doesn't
it's
have
a
a
mid-card
title
feud,
it doesn't have a
but think
title.
about it. This is a mid-card feud with a little bit of a story, not surrounding a title. I mean, listen, they're not going to give you a 5-star match, but you know what? At 9:30, it's perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Kurt Angle then made his way to the ring in this segment. By God, was this segment good. I felt like they got told to go in the ring and just shoot on each other.
Now, you're going to have, and here's another spot you're going to have to help me out, because that segment.
You missed the best one. You missed the best segment of the show.
Here's what happened. That segment, when Roman Reigns was coming out, Aaron Judge was coming out for the finals of the Home Run Derby, and I gotta watch my boy Judge. So I watched the last few at bats for Sano from Minnesota there. That was in the finals with Judge, and then I watched Judge hit. And by the time I got back to Raw, Kurt was screaming about canceling the match if they touched each other.
Dude, you missed the
and
best
Joe,
part.
I came back when Joe and Brock were kind of nose to nose, and Brock said, "I kicked your ass last night," and Joe was like, I'm putting you to sleep at some point. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I
was
saw
good.
that part, but I missed I missed the meat and potatoes of it.
So basically, he brings out Brock, and Kurt mentions at their match at WrestleMania 19, and that it took a few years off his career, which was nice. And Kurt says he gets Brock better than anyone, and gets better and better over time. And Paul does the introductions for Brock and Kurt, and Paul asks if there's anything else, and Kurt goes, he thought Paul and Brock would like to hear the ideas that he has for who is going to face Brock at SummerSlam. And Paul is like, we usually do this behind closed doors. You just say what you got to say, and we're going to get out of the ring. And we bid you adieu, and Roman Reigns' music hits. And, of course, he gets the mostly boos from the crowd. A lot more cheers than normal here, but a lot of boos.
Still a reaction. He's still getting a big reaction.
So Kurt says that they're not done and tells them, Paul and Brock, to get back in the ring. And, of course, Roman says he's standing in the ring with Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar, and the father of hardcore. Because basically Kurt looks at Roman and goes, he has a lot of nerve coming out considering what he did last night. And Roman is like, we got Kurt, Brock, and the father of hardcore. They grew up, you guys were from the Attitude Era where everybody pretty much blew everything up. And you're saying I got nerve for what happened, for what I did last night, which he brings up a valid point with that. And Kurt goes, well, that was then. This is now. And Roman basically tells Kurt that he you can thank him. I did you a favor because you didn't know how to deal with Braun Strowman, and Brock is never around to deal with him, so I dealt with him last night, and he's out of the picture now. And he says he did Kurt a favor, and Kurt is basically going to return the favor by putting him against Brock at SummerSlam, and Paul says he likes the idea. And Brock all of a sudden takes the mic away from Heyman mid-sentence. So everybody's like in the crowd's like, oh, Brock is going to speak because it's a big deal. It's a big deal whenever Brock speaks.
Oh, of course. Of course.
And he
you actually, even though he doesn't really give you like anything that you're like, oh my God, Brock could really cut a promo. When he speaks, it's infrequent, so it's almost must listen.
So Brock takes the mic and he says, Paul has to be kidding him. Brock asks Roman if he thinks he deserves a title match because he does not deserve. He basically said, he goes, you don't deserve shit. And of course they bleep the word shit because they're on that 7-second delay.
God forbid.
And Paul Heyman
it's all right for LeVar Ball's 17-year-old son to scream the N-word, but God forbid you say shit.
Well, here we are on a network that it's after 10 p.m. They're having shows like Mr. Robot saying shit and damn and piss and pussy.
You can't say shit.
But you can't say shit on WWE TV.
Get that nigga, but you can't say shit.
So
come on.
They bleep him, of course.
And I'm not being racist. I'm just repeating.
And as soon as he says the word shit, Paul Heyman just covers his face like, "Oh my God, you're gonna get me in hot water with the old man."
Paul. Why did you hand him that mic, pal?
He took it from me. What was I supposed to do, Vince?
Yeah, you take the fucking mic from Brock Lesnar, pal.
Yeah. So he tells Roman that this is the closest he will ever get to the title, is seeing it around his waist. And about that time, Joe just makes a beeline for the ring. And Joe's like, aren't we all having a wonderful fantasy land? He goes, now how about this? He goes, how about we drag you all down to reality? And Brock says the reality is he kicked Joe's ass last night.
I like it. Yeah.
But Joe
That's
goes,
probably right where I came in. That's probably right where I
Yeah.
came in.
And Joe tells him, he's like, I'm going to put your ass to sleep sooner or later. And
Yep,
Brock
I
didn't
heard
beat
that,
him
yep.
last night. He escaped him. So if you saw it from there, this was so good with them going back and
Yep.
forth. Kurt is trying to be like, let's get back on script here. But these three are not having any of it. And Paul Heyman is sitting there with the biggest beaming smile on his face, sitting there going, this is exactly what this show needs to be.
Right.
And I'll give
Honestly, you know what I think the main events for SummerSlam should be? A
No.
fucking four-way. Strowman, Roman, Joe, and Lesnar for the fucking title. Book it.
So Roman, basically Joe says that Brock's advocate. Look at your advocate. He's talking for you. He means more than Brock is just sitting there going. Brock finally just gets up in his face and goes, let's do this right now. Don't you ever do this again. Don't you ever talk about him like that, you know? It was so fucking good. And then Joe is like, Roman says Joe showed us last night that he didn't have anybody's number. And Joe's like, yeah, you lost to Braun Strowman. And Strowman
Didn't Joe say to him, you haven't beat me either?
Yeah, you haven't beat me either, you know? So Roman is clearly the odd man out here. But Strowman is nowhere to be found on this show because they know the second that they put Strowman out there, I don't think we're going to see Strowman until after Roman wins the belt at SummerSlam.
Yeah, you're probably right. I just think a four-way would be really cool.
And Kurt says next week it's going to be Samoa Joe versus Braun Strowman, and the winner faces Brock at SummerSlam. But he tells him if you come to blows, the match does not happen next week. And so they finally cooler heads prevail.
Listen, if they're really gonna have Reigns go over Joe and Brock, they better be ready for that heel turn because they are just gonna create more of the same. Mixed
Roman
bag.
beats
Probably a worse reaction for him, to be honest with you.
If Roman beats Brock in the Barclays Center in New York,
it's going to be another Philly. It's going to be another Philly.
Worse. It's going to be a fucking NWO-esque riot, and they are going to shower that ring with as much trash as they could possibly throw in it, and rightfully so. I would love to see it.
Well, unless you see the heel turn prior.
Yeah. But I guarantee you won't. They're not.
No,
you won't.
No, you won't. You won't.
If they were going to turn him heel, they'd do it tonight.
They should have done it.
So we go into basically.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. They should have done it a long time ago. But you have an opportunity here to do it, and it's just.
So basically, Corey is about to talk about that.
They got to release the new line of My Yard T-shirts.
Yeah. And they got to release, in 6 different colors, like Cena. I got
with him everything's black.
Yeah.
Because God
In
forbid
blue.
he take that fucking shield attire off him.
So Corey is about to talk about the match next week, and he's like, I'm looking at my phone. Gotta go to the back.
So does Corey now have some dirt on Angle? Is that what they're trying to portray here?
They come back, and Kurt Angle's in shock because he's looking at his phone, and Corey enters and tells him if he got the same text. And Kurt doesn't want to get it out, wanted to get out, but he might have to make it public. And Kurt said this could affect his family.
Who's Kurt banning?
And he says,
the way the show ended, it made it seem like Kurt is banging somebody, right?
He's like, when he goes public next week, maybe he's going to say goodbye. And this leads into a deal at the end of the night we'll get to it. But the next thing was Tozawa and Cedric versus Dar and Neville. I like the finish of this match. The finish of the match is probably all I saw because I could give 2 fucks about the cruiserweights, I'll be honest with you. They deserve to be treated so much better, and they're never going to be treated more than second, fiddle to everything else on this damn roster. I mean, I'm glad to see Cedric get a win because I'm a huge Cedric Alexander fan. But my God, it's like who is Neville gonna beat? Who's worthy? Who else is worthy besides him of holding that title? Who else can hold it like he has?
You know who I would like to see them build to that point? I don't think he's there yet, but Cedric.
Yeah.
I've always liked Cedric.
I love Cedric Alexander.
Cedric made a big name for himself in that tournament last year with with what's his face there? Jesus, wow.
The Japanese guy.
Yeah.
It's not Kushida, is
Kota
it?
Kota Ibushi.
Kota Ibushi, yeah.
Yeah, which was a tremendous match.
And then the fans go
Cedric's
higher.
guy. Again, I'd almost like to see Cedric get linked up here with with Titus.
Yeah.
I'd like to, you know what I mean.
And it kind of looked like they were heading that way today at the end of this match.
I wouldn't mind seeing Cedric in there.
Once again, the sensitive universe has hung themselves because here they are down in Florida at that tag tournament last year going, hire Cedric. And Triple H is like, comes out impromptu and goes, okay, and we'll hire him. And then they're like,
oh, you mean at the cruiserweight?
But they should have been like, don't let Vince near him.
Right. But I know. Well, true. Hunter had to come out and put his hands up and be like, the game found him. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like anybody who's really a hardcore fan knew the fuck Cedric Alexander was before that match. Okay.
He's really saying, I found him and I'm gonna hand him over to my pops-in-law. And the fan, if he would have said that, the fans would have been like, no, don't.
That's what annoys me about the Full Sail crowd, because they make it sound like, oh, we're in Full Sail, so we found this guy. Come on. Like,
if anything,
you're
jeopardizing
how long ago?
How
long?
careers.
I mean, I saw Cedric Alexander. I don't know, 2-3 years before that.
Yeah,
I mean, how many? Come on.
Same here. I mean, to me, if anything,
he's from down your way too, isn't he?
He's
he a North Carolina
he's
guy?
from Charlotte, North Carolina. Yeah,
I think reason why I saw him, I think he came up for NEW with Man Scout and Caleb Conley.
Yep. He's a PWX alumni. He's a CWF guy. You know, his last match in North Carolina was for a CWF co-branded show. So I think it was CWF and PWX did like a co-branded show, but his last match in North Carolina is on CWF's YouTube page.
Don't you get the sense too with Cedric, like when you're looking around and you see Balor and even AJ to an extent, and now Bennett and Sami Zayn even a little bit, Enzo obviously. Cedric's a guy that doesn't just have to be a cruiserweight either.
Yeah.
He can hang.
Well, here's the thing about that. Here's the thing about that. He did not weigh. He weighed. I think he cut.
Well, he
30,
dropped weight. Yeah, he dropped
cut
weight.
30 pounds just to be in that tournament.
But he looks better. Better though.
Yeah, he does.
His look is better than it was when he was in Ring of Honor.
And you know what though?
And actually, I think the athleticism came out a little bit more.
Here's somebody who cut 30 pounds just to get on your tournament. He didn't ask to win it. He just wanted to be a part of it, and he was a part of it.
Well, I mean, the best match of it was still him and Ibushi.
But
him and Ibushi was the best match of that tournament.
But here's a guy who busted his ass and put into work just to essentially get a tryout match, and then you hire him and fuck him over like this? Come on.
Right. Well, I don't think. I mean, we all thought that the cruiserweight division was going to be part of one of the shows.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, they put it on the wrong show, because when Morrow was calling SmackDown, the cruiserweight should have went to SmackDown, just because of Morrow to begin with. And then you take, and maybe if Morrow stayed, he'd be the voice of 205 Live. But I don't know that any of us saw that coming, that 205 Live deal coming.
So Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins was next. Fantastic match between these two. I wanted it to be kind of the last match, but no, we're going to get more out of it. That Falcon Arrow, man, it really looked like Seth had to really lift that big bitch up for that damn Falcon Arrow.
Right.
It made it look like, I got to really, can he get the big man up? Boom. Yeah, he did.
Yep.
He did. It was a pretty Falcon Arrow, too, given how it looked, and what the circumstances were. And then we kind of
did it last night too, didn't he?
Yeah, and then afterwards we had the Miz Taraj run out, and Dean makes the save, and Rollins. Honestly, I think they may be going for a three-way between Seth, Dean, and Miz, because Wyatt was gone, and Wyatt didn't come back out to help anybody.
Oh, right, maybe.
And then after the match,
Possible.
after all this,
Or
Kurt
they're gonna
Angle-
put whoever Jamoke with whoever with those two, and then have them in a 6-man tag next
Yep.
week.
and then
Maybe there they go, trios champions. The triplet
the
triplet
title,
champions.
the triplet
The
champions.
the Biz team is the triplet champions.
Hashtag triplet champions.
and then all the smarks will be out there going, the Shield should have won that. They
Wait.
should have brought the Shield
No,
back to
the-
win
the-
it.
the
But
Shield-
don't you hate Roman?
No, they're gonna be like, why is it triplets titles? Why aren't they calling it the WWE Trios Championship? Goddamn pal, nobody knows what trios means. Gotta call it the
So
triplets title.
The question is though, they're running out of colors. So
Yeah.
what color would they be? Like green, or
Green, pink.
Like, I mean, they're running out of colors for belts the way they're
no,
doing
because
this.
WWE's logo is black, red, and white. That's their colors. So one will be black, one will be
Yeah,
red,
but they
one will
got
be
the
white.
blue. They got the blue tag titles.
Yeah.
They got the fucking white title with the blue.
I can just
and
hear
then
Vince, goddamn pal, nobody's gonna know what trios means. We gotta call it the triplets titles. So then we see Angle in the back, and he's on his phone, and he tells the person on the phone to stop thinking that way, and he invites him to Raw next week, and he goes, he's proud of the person, of this
We
person.
did nothing wrong. We did nothing wrong.
We did nothing wrong, and he wants to tell the world next week, and he goes, I love you, and then hangs up the phone. Here's my prediction for this, and the internet's already starting it, and I'm gonna throw my wild
think it's
card.
Maurice?
No, my wild card prediction for this.
Steph?
It's probably gonna be Steph. Why would he be telling Steph he loves her? But anyway, my two long-standing picks for this is either A, they're gonna shock the world and bring Karen Jarrett back, and have her be with Angle, which I never think will happen, or it's Dixie Carter. What would you... That building in the wrestling world would shit themselves if Dixie Carter is taking over Raw.
I mean,
did it with
the only thing about it is I don't.
Dixie Carter has no place in the wrestling business. Not even on that 24
right.
thing.
I don't. I mean, I really
She
don't
would
like
get
it.
nuclear heat, man.
She really would. She might even get Angle, like
Dude.
nuclear heat.
She-
I mean, I was thinking along the lines of people who are on the show.
Who is on the show that wasn't there tonight, though?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm trying to think of their women's division. I mean, it wouldn't be Dana Brooke or.
Well, Dana Brooke and Emmalina,
Right.
Emma, whatever she is this week.
Well, remember they had that scene on the pre-show.
On the pre-show, yeah, and then it was never
Could it be
touched on
Dana
again.
Brooke? It could be Dana Brooke.
Could be Dana Brooke, yeah. I love you, Dana Brooke. Yeah, there you go.
I mean, it would be weird. I'd have to see where else they're going
And
with
then,
it.
but knowing Vince will be like, it's just their friend, pal. Friends can say I love you to each other. Goddamn, you know.
I mean, somehow, some way, I have a feeling that this is gonna be like a really sucky storyline.
Watch it be like a dude, and Vince is just like, no homo, pal, no homo.
It's what's his face? It's make what's his name great again. Remember they were doing that thing with Backlund and fucking
Darren Young.
what's his name over there? Titus's old partner there, fucking god damn it.
Not Darren Young. It was
Darren Young, yeah,
it
Darren
was
Young.
Darren Young.
It was Darren Young. He's gay, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they did that whole make Darren Young great again. They never made him great. The whole storyline was fucking ridiculous, and they trashed it. And maybe it's Darren Young. I'm going. My pick is Dana Brooke.
My pick is Dixie Carter.
Honestly, I hope you're right.
Just because the sensitive universe, whatever, including myself, I would be a part of the sensitive universe.
The only way
I
they're
would
gonna do that
boo
is
the fuck out
down
of
the
her.
road. Down the road, have Vince fire her and throw her in a trash can or something.
Yeah, I mean that's how it's gonna be.
Or they're gonna do what they did with Vicky Guerrero.
And you know
And
what? I
throw her in
wouldn't
a
have
pile of shit or something.
And that's Vince's MO. Every time he conquers somebody in the business, or every time. But the thing is, he didn't conquer this woman. She drove herself out of her own company.
He didn't even have to. He didn't even have to pay
He
attention.
didn't have to. He didn't pay attention to it. Goddamn pal. You let an owl buy
Probably
you out.
cut a deal with her to get footage and shit.
I mean, well, Anthem owns the library, so she couldn't give them shit, you know?
Dude, so this angle thing's gonna have no TNA footage at all.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so I was gonna watch it when we finished up
I
here.
saved you in 06. I'm your savior, Kurt.
Well, this
you
is.
owe
I mean,
me.
you can see where they're going here. Talking, Uncle Vince is the. I tried to save him. This is the fucking Triple H fucking. Shawn Michaels story again. You know what I mean? That's what this is right now.
I could see her. I could see Dixie coming out. Oh, honey, I made you, Kurt. I made you get off the pills. I stuck with you. I put you in there against Joe. And
Now
made you.
ride me like you did when we were down in Nashville.
Yeah. Now, I got you. I kept your head above water. I kept you relevant.
I put you in the Hall of Fame first.
I put you in there first, Kurt. Now you got to get in my Hall of Fame. My personal Hall of Fame. I love you, Kurt.
Listen, Joe, wait, I want to see Dixie Carter's feet, too.
Oh, don't worry, honey. I wear open toes to every show, even when I went through that table. Even when I let Bully put me through that table.
Wait, what if it's Brooke Hogan?
Oh, my God. What if it's Hulk?
No, it's Brooke Hogan, and they're gonna run a storyline, Kurt versus Hogan, in the geriatric fucking wrestling match, where somebody tries to not break a neck.
What if it's like Ric Flair?
It's like clotheslines only or something.
Big boots and leg drops are banned.
It's one of Ric Flair's 17 wives.
Fifi the maid comes out there in the French maid outfit at 56
hold on.
years old.
It's Paige. that's why they fought in the airport.
It's Paige.
That's why it was a work. It's Paige. We figured it out.
Get away from me. I gotta go meet Cut. Get away.
That's why Alberto's so mad. You're not going back to that fucking company, Pedro. We are not fucking sports entertainers. We are fucking pro wrestlers.
Now get on the plane. Now get on the plane and put your mask on.
How about this, you steroid freak? Put somebody over.
I think that's a good place to end it for tonight. Oh, man. We're going to go ahead and end it right there, folks. We'd like to thank you guys for listening to PWAM. I'm sure AC will have a show this week. Probably.
Yes, I am. I'm working on the part 2 of Conor versus Floyd.
Well, then they had a big news in the NFL, in the UFC. Was it Amanda Nunes fell sick and backed out of her match?
I'm actually going to cover that with D. Smitty this week.
There you go.
So me and D. Smitty are going to do a spot on that. And then there was some news with Conor and Floyd. We're going to talk about Floyd's tax situation.
I was going to say,
we're going to talk
Yahoo
about
had a big article up saying,
TMZ did a great job. They had some quotes from Conor, which get into on the show. And also Mauro Ranallo and Brendan Schaub did kind of a 20-minute preview for the fight for Showtime, which is on YouTube, which I watched, which was tremendous. And exactly the reason why I think Brendan Schaub should be calling the fight with Mauro, but he probably won't be. But anyway, we're going to talk about that.
I love how on Yahoo this morning, the headline was, Floyd Mayweather takes fight just to pay off IRS debts.
Well, here's the thing. And like I said, I'm going to get into it on the show. The IRS is fighting his stance on that. They're not taking him at his word with that. Even though they know he's obviously going to make the money, they feel that he has
look at it this way. Here's a guy.
He has the wherewithal to pay. Now, remember, they're talking about 2015 taxes, and he made that year just for the Pacquiao fight $220 million.
Yeah, I mean, here's a guy who walks around everywhere he goes, has $1 million in cash in a duffel bag. You don't think the IRS ain't already on him with a fucking microscope as it is?
Listen, when you post a picture of $100 million check with no taxes being taken out of it, you're almost calling. You're John
Hey,
Gottiing the IRS.
Uncle
When
Sam,
John
look
Gotti
what I
called
got.
out the FBI, look what happened.
Uncle Sam,
So-
look what I got. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
We're
Where you
gonna-
just why don't they probably started the investigation when he posted the picture. So,
It's like Wesley
I mean,
Snipes.
let's be honest. Floyd's never been Floyd's been thought of as a great fighter, as a fighter that can kind of compute what's going on in the ring and all that. But other than that, nobody's ever
And you know what, though?
presented Floyd Mayweather as a smart human.
He has nobody to blame for this but himself. He can't blame it on Don King or any of these other promoters.
Right, 'cause he's
he
his own
promotes
promoter.
himself. So he did it. We're going to leave it there, folks. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. You can follow us. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching and listening. And follow us on Twitter as well at 1650 PWAM. AC is at AC Cooldown. Jeff Edwards, we will be doing the unofficial CWF Mid-Atlantic After Show this Wednesday. It's going to be at 11:30 because they have a 2-hour show going up. You can follow Jeff at Blading for Truth. You can follow me at Joe Pillar to Post. And more importantly, follow the network at 1650 PWAM. And we will see you Wednesday night.
Thanks for all the new subscribers.
Yeah, thank you to everybody who subscribed in the last 24 hours. We'll see you next time, folks.